Just a really quick thank you to everybody, to the MCA, and to the investors here today. So my name is Norman Love. This is Yurong Lin, and we founded at Star Innovations. Star Innovations, our product is going to help you to make better decisions under the sun. So I have a very important question to ask you today. Do you know how much UV you've been exposed to? The reason I asked that question is because more people are diagnosed with skin cancer than all other cancers combined in the US. UV from the sun is a major cause of skin cancer, and 1 in 5 Americans is going to develop it before the age of 70. Now, if you don't fall into the category of skin cancer, certainly you're concerned also about skin damage. So we're all familiar with these images here. Here you see a child who's been out in the sun too long, has been exposed to too much sun, has red, irritated, peeling skin. Here in the center, you see a woman who's taken a photograph. One side's her actual face. The other side is a computer-generated image showing what her face would look like without sun protection. And that shows wrinkles, thinning of lips, blemishes, discolorations, precursors to skin cancer. Finally, you see the gentleman on the very right-hand side. He's a truck driver. Half of his face was exposed to the sun all the time. The other half wasn't as exposed. And certainly you see some of the effects of skin damage on this gentleman here. Now, skin damage is caused by the sun. And one issue is that skin damage and sun damage is cumulative, so it adds up over time. Now, currently there's no wearable and affordable UV sensor on the market that is able to track how much sun you've been exposed to over time. So our solution to this problem is a bracelet that you put on, and that bracelet changes from orange to blue once you've been exposed to the daily recommended EPA amount of UV. Now the color change is gradual, it's permanent, and it is changes once it's reached that UV limit. It's disposable, and it's also waterproof if you want to wear it out to the pool or outside. Here's our business model. So we're planning to sell this bracelet to people who use sunscreen, people who are concerned with skin care, and also possibly sporting and retail stores. Now the bracelet works for one-time use. We'd like to sell them in packets of 1 to 6, and the bracelet costs about $1 to $2 per bracelet. So our target market is skincare, primarily sunscreen. So here you see a variety of different sunscreen manufacturers that we could potentially partner with. And the sunscreen market is $2 billion. Based on this, we estimate that we could have about $20 million of sales per year after a period of time. We also have some other pipeline uses for this technology, which include antiques preservation, tattoo care, for those of who are concerned with tattoos fading over time. And also we have some other ideas that we could use this technology for. So here's our partnering strategy. Obviously we are targeting partnering with one of the major sunscreen manufacturers. We also have plans to reach out to local outdoor sporting goods as well as national sporting goods stores. And of course there's a tattoo market. For investors interested in this technology, our exit strategy, we found an example of a skincare manufacturer that was able to sell their company to L'Oreal, something that we would like to do as well. And that's Carol's daughter, sold her company for $27 million.
Okay, so here's how we make our product. First of all, we started with a 3D printer, and then we have a flexible filament. So because of the use of 3D printing, so we can print any shape or any logos. So for example, we can print any of the UTEP logos or cowboy logos, etc. So this example we tried first is our company, Star Innovation LLC. So as you can see over here, once we print them, we can fill that in with these UV sensitive polymer which we developed. Initially it's orange in color, and once you receive EPA recommended UV dose every day, it's going to change color to permanently dark blue. So these color changing is calibrated against these different UV index, and again this color changing is permanent. So therefore when you go back indoor, you'll see if you exceed the limit of UV or not. So we did quite a lot of a marketing study. So we know that many UV sensors out there. So we classify them into these different kinds. So x-axis over here is simplicity. Y-axis here is affordability. So on the lower right, there's many these devices that can talk to your cell phone. However, they use batteries and they use a wireless electronics communication. So they're very expensive. They're in the range of $100 to $300. And on the lower right, so they don't have these active electronics. However, they have these passive wireless communication. So therefore, you can use your cell phone to send signals in, and then they can give you informations. However, they still have electronics in it, so therefore price is still expensive, anywhere from $10 to $50. So we believe the sweet spot is in the top right, as you can see over here. It's simple, and at the same time, it's affordable. So there's some competitors out there. So this watch over here, you see, it's about $8. However, it only tracks UV at that moment. So the moment you go indoor, it's going to change color back to white, so it doesn't mean anything. So more also on Amazon, you can buy this sunburn alert. However, this color change is a transient. So basically, it's going to change color to a different kind, which is purple, once you receive UV amount. However, it's going to change back to its original white color. So therefore, you really have to pay attention the whole time. Otherwise, you're going to miss the point. And then more recently, there's a company called Logic Inc. They developed this tattoo-based UV track. However, as you see, the price is still kind of expensive, $4 per tattoo. In the same time, you have to wear it, and then the way you put the tattoo on is not that easy. So we believe our product is a bracelet-based, so therefore it's very simple to put it on, and also in the same time, it's way lower cost than the rest of it. So we think that's a great market for us. And again, here's our team. Like Norman said, me and Norman, we are both actually associate professor of mechanical engineering at UTEP. And also, we have been working on sensors and energy area for over 10 years, have numerous publications and patents in sensors and energy. And then also currently, we're supporting full part-time employees. And our goal is to hire local talents, because we want these local talents to stay in El Paso to grow this regional economy within startup. And here's what we achieved and needed very quickly. So we found our company about 1 year ago, and then we established the MC lab facility, and so we have our first pitch and demo in about 3 months ago. So looking forward, we're going to fine-tune the sensors, and we're also going to test the accuracy against different UV or against a different weather. And also next, we're going to test and also massively produce them using different technologies. That's also we're going to focus on early next year. And also we're going to focus on marketing of the technology, so therefore we can set up some partnership. In summary, we're seeking total $110,000 for pre-seed round funding. And then we have 3 main tasks: refine accuracy, fine-tuning, and then mass production and calibration, and loss and marketing. So we also divide these different tasks against each month, and as you can see, the total amount we're going to seek for is $110,000. Here's our contact information. And in summary, we developed this low-cost UV sensor that's going to change color permanently once we receive EPA recommended UV exposure. And then again, we're going to help you make better decisions under the sun. Thank you.
Sunscreen lets you stay out in the sun a little longer, right? Have you calibrated the exposure using sunscreen with your bracelet? Because your bracelet is just taking UV straight, right?
Right.
How have you, has that been calibrated so that once you put the sunscreen, it jives with the direct exposure to UV in the bracelet?
So to answer your question, so we did. So when you apply sunscreen, you can also apply the sunscreen outside of this bracelet. So therefore, it's kind of like pretend you are also applying sunscreen on the screen, on your skin. Yes.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. If it's changed color, it means your skin chances are also get enough.
All right.
Yeah.
Does it monitor A and B?
Yes, it does. Both. We've calibrated for that. Yes.
For both.
So the sunscreen doesn't affect the ability for this to track the amount of UV. I mean, it's so once you put it, it's going to react the same way as if you were to put it on skin. So it doesn't have any effect whether you put it on the bracelet or on your skin. I mean, so how does it? Let me know a little more how that works. Is it just filtering the UV, or what does it do when you put sunscreen on this bracelet?
Yeah, so I think there's 2 different kinds of sunscreens out there. One of them is physical, so based on, I think, zinc oxide. So therefore, they actually I guess, reflecting UVs. The other one is chemical, so therefore they actually absorb the UVs. So when you apply sunscreen on your skin, it's basically the same as what you apply on the bracelet. So therefore, it's going to only actually block part of the UV. It's not going to block 100%. We tried that actually. It's very interesting. If you apply sunscreen on the bracelet, it's going to delay the time of the color change for sure. So it means it's working, but actually it's not delaying much. Because I think sunscreen classified by SPF value, right? Mm-hmm. So SPF 50, supposedly it's going to extend 55%, but that's not what we tested here. It's not what we find. So sunscreen just going to delay the time of you get sunburned. It's going to still allow certain amount.
So when I see, similar to some of the other products out there, typically if you're out in the sun too much, you're going to get burned on your face or on your back. But this thing is this bracelet's worn on your wrist. So how are you making sure that the sun's affecting your wrist as much as it's affecting your back? So.
Yeah, well, I guess typically when you're out in the sun, and right now we're undergoing some tests. We've distributed some of these bracelets and are testing them for people who are going to the beach or people who are outside. And we're finding that there's a good correlation between wearing it on your wrist and the level of amount of UV that you've been exposed to. So it's a pretty good indicator. Is it exactly the amount? I mean, there are certain factors we have to be aware of. For example, the design on the bracelet may spin around and be blocked from the sun, so that may be a factor that we need to take into account. There's certain aspects, but in general, it's a good representation of the amount.
All right, well, thank you to Star Innovation.